So obviously yesterday was a big deal. A lot happened yesterday. Halo announced a massive rebrand. Like, this is like a huge shift in what's going to happen with Halo. So I'll play the video and then we'll talk about it. TLDR, studio rebrand. The upper management of 343 seems to be getting a shakeup, and they are moving Halo over to a Unreal 5 engine, and also they are working on multiple IP projects at the same time. Here we go.
Chris Matthews, take one. Mark.
This is Casey Wu, take one. Mark.
I was told that I can just be my authentic self, Chris.
For 6 years, I don't want to be in front of a camera.
There's so much to do and so much fun to be had when you play Halo that I feel like I never run out of things to do.
I love intricate stories that take place across lots of different worlds, have lots of different meaningful characters.
What made Halo successful at the beginning? What is the legacy of Halo, and what's the soul that we want to bring forward, and what's the craft of making Halo games, and how do we set our studio at best to go deliver on that?
We knew we had to make a change in order to take us into the future.
When I first heard about Halo moving on Unreal Engine, my first thought was...
I mean, I'm going to say this. Thank God they're doing something. It's obvious 343 had no idea what they were doing. Like, I am in shock that Xbox didn't completely gut that studio, like, over 5 years ago. Like, you have Halo 4 that was, like, generally, like, very badly received. Halo 5, nobody cared about. Halo Infinite. Like, how do you make 3 bad products like that and nothing happens? This is way overdue.
This is going to be a really hard secret to keep.
I think fans are going to be excited about the future of Halo because of the possibilities that are afforded us by using Unreal.
Before, we really had to split our focus in thinking about building an engine, supporting it, being really kind of a tech company and a studio at the same time. Since we've made the change to shift to UE, we can bring Halo forward in ways that people have never seen before while still being true to what Halo is.
The Foundry project was an effort to show ourselves how far we can push things using Unreal 5.
New studio art director, Chris, came to me and said, hey, I have this crazy idea.
He said, hey, there's this thing called Project Foundry that I want to do. Let's make it happen.
Foundry specifically is based around the same concept of the Foundry in Halo lore. It's the place where Halo rings are born.
Okay. So this is the game. It's Unreal 5.
It's not a game, it's a research project for our studio so we can prepare ourselves for the next steps of making Halo games.
I mean, if you want me to just pause and look at this, like, this looks really good, but Halo Infinite looked just as good as the other one. Like, I mean, I can go and look at Halo Infinite. I mean, this is just like every game has this. I mean, I've seen tech demos like this for Unreal 5 for years now. I hear it's loud. That's cool.
The original Halo franchise was a graphics showcase. It was best in class. That's what Halo was when it first was released, and that's what Halo needs.
That's actually true. I don't think people realize, like, how good Halo's graphics were whenever it first came out. Like, Halo released in 2001. The graphics were totally fucking next level. They were insane.
To be again.
Let me see this. Does this look good? Yeah, I think this looks good. Looks all right. Yeah, sure.
So once Project Foundry had been approved, we took the entire creative team and we ideated on 3 locations, something old, something new, and something really alien.
We had the Pacific Northwest, which is sort of traditional Halo biome.
We were trying to shove
as much foliage in there as humanly possible to make it really feel like you're on a hike in the, Cascades.
The Coldlands, which was the second biome that we took on, it was more of a technical showcase where we could play with shaders, we could play with deformable landscapes and terrains.
Yeah, that looks
Unreal
nice.
affords us more opportunity than we've ever had in the past.
On the surface, it might just look all like snow, but how many layers of things combine to really give that winter look?
And then our third biome was the Blightlands, which is any land
like the flood.
that's been completely taken over by the flood.
I wanted to give our team the opportunity to really express an alien world, a really alien world, taking something way further than they may have actually done in previous Halo games.
What's impressed me about watching the Halo team work in Unreal is how beautiful everything looks, how incredible.
I mean, I would say this definitely looks really good. I mean, back in the day, because you remember, they had this exact structure in, the first Halo missions in Halo 1? I do feel like this looks the way it looked in my mind when I looked at it whenever I was 11. Does that make sense, right? It's like if you go back and you, imagine, in your mind then, you saw it, yeah, this looks very good. I mean, I would say also, I thought Halo Infinite also looked pretty good. So I think that really they're talking about this from a perspective, for me as a player, I feel like it's not that big of a deal. But I think that as a studio, it probably means a lot more to them because Unreal probably is much more versatile than what the engine they were using before was.
The environments look. I don't think we've seen anything quite like it in Unreal Engine before.
Fortunately, we have a studio that's really passionate about Halo, about the look and the feel, and I think there's a lot of hunger to really collaborate, to move forward together.
Foundry was an initiative that touched on every part.
Well, I think also Unreal 5 is very good at it's very good at rendering complex things without making it massively demanding on a CPU or on a console or a computer, right? Basically. That's huge. That's insane because that's been the real weak spot, right?
The creative process, everything from
it's good
concept art,
optimization. Exactly.
VFX, characters, vehicles, and weapons to make the future games of Halo.
Creating an asset, taking this design, now we can really dig into material foundations. What is it actually made of? How is it physically accurate to the world? Now we get to take all the wonderful legacy assets that we have, bring them to life, and bring them to today's standards.
Yeah, that looks great.
We are really excited to be not just working on multiple projects, but also expanding our studio.
As a lifelong Halo player, I think the game's only going to get better when we get those new, unique perspectives and people bring in their expertise and passion for the Halo franchise.
We are looking for new talent as the projects that we're working on kind of get further and further into their development cycles.
And it is great to be part of a team that's growing because you can kind of see that force multiplied as people come in and take on challenges and you can do more.
Imagine a place where you have the commitment that this is what we want to do, Halo games, and create those experiences. And you can express your talent, your creativity, and your professional ambitions in that place.
We're looking for designers, we're looking for artists, we're looking for engineers.
It feels like a new beginning for the studio in a lot of ways, and I think that's pretty rare.
I'll believe it when I see it. That's my opinion. This sounds really good, but a few stills that look pretty good, that's not going to be enough.
And I think we arrived now at a point where you see the beginnings of people to start to believe in the process.
There's so much momentum that we have right now and focus and clarity on not just what we're building, but why we're building and kind of this next phase of Halo.
The worlds that we're building, the stories that we're going after.
The potential at Halo right now is huge.
Halo Infinite was the last remnants of how we made Halo games in the past. That was our recipe. And what we are doing right now, we're changing that recipe.
So they're making a whole new studio for this too. Oh yeah, I guess this is, yeah, Halo Studios. There you go. I mean, my opinion is about goddamn time. I mean, Halo used to be what would sell Xbox. I mean, that was it. It was Halo and Gears of War. Those are like the two biggest IPs. And so I'm really glad to see them bringing this back. But in my opinion, I think also, like, isn't this like 80, probably 90, 70%, somewhere around there, probably over 50% just 343 Studios that's being rebranded? Like, that's my understanding of it. So when I see this, I can be very hopeful. Like, oh yeah, I hope this is really good. At the end of the day, if you have like such a massive IP like Halo, and they haven't been able to deliver on having that IP meet the expectations of the players, it's very clear that Halo, like if you go back and you think about, like, Call of Duty is still popular. A lot of people still like Call of Duty. And I think that you see Valorant still doing well. Counter-Strike is still doing well. So many of these old games are actually still performing quite well. But Halo is just, let me see if I can look it up. How many people are watching Halo? Like, there's like other channels that come up before the section even. It has 300 viewers. So I'm just not really seeing this go anywhere. I'm not seeing this go, anything like this happen. So COD is slowly dying. I don't think COD is dying. But what I'm saying is that a lot of these games and everything, Halo, I think, has had the biggest fall off of any of the games. Because I think you could say with Gears of War, like, they haven't really made a lot of Gears of War games, right? Like, it's been many years, whereas Halo has continuously tried to, like, make new games, and they just haven't been able to succeed in the market. And Halo used to be the game. I bought an Xbox to play Halo. I bought an Xbox 360 to play Halo 3. Like, that was it. That's why I bought an Xbox. Sorry, Gears player here. They killed Gears. They might have killed Gears, but I think that it's better that it's dead rather than it's a reanimated corpse running around as if it's the actual game. And I think that that's what happened with Halo, is that they don't really know where to take Halo, and they don't know how to, like, evolve the franchise in a way that makes sense. Only ODST and Reach came close. I'm going to be honest. I loved the Halo campaigns. I thought they were amazing. I think Halo 3 campaign was so fucking good. Halo 2 campaign was good. Halo 1 campaign was, like, kind of hit and miss for me. Like, some of the missions I loved, like the Truth and Reconciliation mission, where, like, you start on a beach, I think. Oh my god, it's so good. Other ones, half and half, right? But overall, I'll go back and just talk about this, right? As I said, I'll believe it when I see it. This sounds very good, but renaming the studio to Halo Studios and then saying that you're using a new graphics engine, that doesn't really fix the problem that I think the game has, Yeah, I worked at 343. The problem is leadership in Microsoft's contracting system. It's a mess. Likely nothing will change from this, just an engine swap. Yeah, and I think that, like, engines, I don't really care a lot about using an engine. Like, there's games that work really well on Unity, like Valheim, for example, games that work really well on Unreal, like Black Myth Wukong, and there's games that work on proprietary engines as well, like the Star engine with Star Citizen, or like Cyberpunk with the CD Projekt Red engine. I forgot what the name of it is. So I think it really just depends on what you're developing, and, that's what really matters more than anything. So, Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I don't know about Breath of the Wild. I don't know what it runs on. Microsoft is very safe. Yeah, I think there's probably that case too. But, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it with Halo.